It's Saturday, March 16th, 2020. So an absolutely insane week in the stock market. Historical chaos taking place in these markets. We've never seen a time like we are witnessing take place economically in America ever. I'm making a video today. I want to share a little bit later some observations I had today locally right here in Palm Desert, California, and running some errands all the way to Victorville, California, which is considered the high desert. I'm here in the low desert of Palm Desert. We went up to the high desert today, Victorville, which is about a little over 100 miles away, and I observed some things up there that I'm going to share with you in this video. But in regards to what has just transpired in this last week, this chaos in these markets, a lot of people are comparing this to 87. They're comparing it to the dot-com bubble. They're comparing it to 2008. This does not compare to any of those events. We are in a time now, a situation where industries across the world have been shut down. Italy, the entire country has been shut down. We have never, ever witnessed a time like this ever. And if our politicians do not start coming together, working together to fix this, to attack this disease, to get hands-on and do something about this economy and these markets, things are about to get much worse. People here in America are comatose. They are oblivious for the most part of what's really happening. As I'm out today, there are people who are awake. There are people very nervous. There is panic. There is concern out there, no doubt about it. But the majority have no worry. The majority of people have the slightest clue how close the credit markets are to falling apart. We are testing the limits of liquidity and very tight financial conditions. We are literally on razor's edge right now, while most people are just upset that NASCAR is canceled, that the NCAA tournament's canceled, the NBA is canceled. This is where America's mindset is, and this is why so many people, multi-millions of people, are going to be taken by surprise, and they are going to be economically wiped out. The wealth transfer is coming, and if you are not prepared for it, it is going to wipe you out. It is coming. It is not going to stop. I'm not saying when it's going to happen, but it is now a matter of not if, but when, and it is coming. And I believe we are starting to watch this transition, this wealth transfer begin. And it may be a long, drawn-out process, or it can happen very, very quickly. America is 8 months away from an election, okay? It could be a new president. And it's around 8 days away from seeing a dramatic rate cut. Within 8 days, we are going to be, quite literally, probably at 0% interest rates. You know, remember, people, your friends, your family members, your acquaintances said this could never happen. We'll never go to zero. We're never going to go negative. We're getting very, very close now. In fact, we will probably see negative rates in 2020. It's very, very possible. I believe next week we are going to see 0% interest rates. Coming very soon, direct loans to small businesses. This is the stimulus, okay? All the money printing, the direct loans to small business because of this economic crash we're witnessing. Insurance for salaries, direct helicopter money, payroll tax cuts, possible bank closures. As I've said in the past, I would be very, very weary if I had money in the bank right now. I recommend just keeping the bare minimum in order to pay the bills. I would not keep much more than that in a bank account right now. We're being told that the banks are capitalized, but if they are, how come we are seeing hundreds of billions of dollars a night being pumped into the repo market every day? We just pumped $1 trillion into the repo market in 48 hours. So if these banks were liquid, if there was liquidity, how come the actions that we're seeing with these massive repo injections is pointing to a liquidity crisis. So how safe is your bank? How safe is your money in your bank? And when we go to negative, remember, you're going to be paying the banks when you lend them your money. How do you feel about that? The panic right now, in my humble opinion, shouldn't be this disease. The panic should be this economy and the disruption and chaos that these markets are going to cause when they collapse. This is why I believe so much in holding hard, tangible assets like gold and silver and land and real things. Because when we see this liquidity crisis taking place, when we see the volatility in these markets, and we're going to see immense pressure on the US dollar, all this is pointing to gold and silver and real tangible hard assets, because paper is going to get devastated, and you're witnessing how quickly paper can be devastated. Take a good look at your money markets, your 401ks, money you don't even have in your hands, how quickly it's been vaporized over the last couple weeks. This is about to get much worse. Look, it could rebound this week. I understand that. It could rebound Monday. Look at the rebound we got on Friday, but it was all artificial. Trillions of dollars being injected into the markets, promises of massive stimulus, bailouts, tax cuts. I mean, we're going to be bailing out banks, airlines, probably auto companies, shipping companies, freight companies, corporations, maybe Deutsche Bank, who knows? Again, this is why you better own gold, you better own silver, you better have some cash reserves put away, because things could get very, very bumpy. This could overnight implode very quickly. Deutsche Bank showing some real serious warning signs, sitting on trillions of dollars of derivatives. JP Morgan, trillions of dollars of derivatives. And on top of that, the layoffs are coming. The supply chains have broken, massive factory closures over in China and other parts of the world. And this means we are going to see massive layoffs coming to America. And this is going to continue to be a factor in the disruption of this economy. Look, here's the reality. This Ponzi scheme that they have artificially run up for 12 years is now winding down. It is coming to an end. And that doesn't mean tomorrow or next week, but it could. Nobody knows. I would rather be a little bit early than a little bit late to what is about to happen. You know, people are going to jump into these markets, catching falling knives as they're raining down. People jumping into these markets. Do you really think that this market is going to go back up above 30,000 points? Maybe it does, but how quickly can it go to 5, 4? This is a life lesson, what we've been watching the last couple weeks take place. And it's a wake-up call to people how quick things can happen. You know, as I was out today, locally here, things seem pretty calm. This is a fairly affluent area here in Palm Desert, but the grocery store was extremely busy. I ran a couple errands, picked up some bread at one of the local grocery stores. It was busy, no doubt about it. But this is an affluent area, older people, busy but not panic driven. Now, the Costco's and the Walmarts over here, whole different story. But it's a different type of people. You have more of an upper median, a wealthier crowd versus, you know, the people over at Walmart, maybe some of the people at Costco, maybe more, you know, middle income, lower medium. Lines around the building at Costco, okay? Massive people at Walmart. And, you know, people accuse me of being a doom and gloomer, paranoid, scared. Today, I mean, I just basically ran some errands. We went from the low desert to the high desert. I came back and I was just sat out here and I was just pruning my bonsai trees. No reason to panic because I have my food, I have my water, I have my hard tangible assets, I have security. So it was a nice, relaxing day, gorgeous out. So while people were lined up out the doors around the building at Costco, while they were getting in fights, fighting over water at Walmart, standing in long lines, hoping not to get contaminated by this disease. Being a prepared individual, I had a very nice, calm, relaxing day pruning my bonsai trees, which really calms me down and keeps me nice and relaxed. And I just enjoyed the beautiful day and the trees and just had a nice day. I didn't need to go out to do anything other than, run a couple errands at my will. I didn't have to. I just felt like getting out and running some errands and picking up a loaf of bread. But I was not going to wait in a line of 100 people or get in a fight over a case of water because I already have that stuff. So, when you're a prepared individual, there's no reason to be paranoid. There's no reason to be scared. There's no reason to even have to leave your house. I just sat and had a nice, relaxing day. And that's what preparation is all about. When the bank runs happen, when the bail-ins happen, I'll be probably sitting here pruning one of my bonsai trees because I don't have a lot of money in the bank. I don't rely on the system. One of the best things you could do is get out of this system, be more self-sufficient, be more self-reliant. The more reliant you are in the system, the more you're going to lose. So a beautiful day here in the low desert. I went to the high desert up in Victorville, as I said earlier. Let me tell you, there are people very worried. I went to lunch, and there was a Turner's outdoorsman store up there, and they sell camping gear, fishing, guns, ammo, and let me tell you, they were packed, lined up out the door. I figured I was in the area, maybe I'll buy, a box of brass. No way. There was, and I'm not even exaggerating, 100 people in this store, all buying arms, all buying brass. In fact, the brass looked gone. I didn't really see much left. I mean, the shelves looked empty, and there was 100 people in line out the door to get in to buy stuff. So obviously I didn't do that. I have plenty already stockpiled. So, but I was there. I figured I'd stop in and buy a little bit more, but I couldn't do it. It was just too busy. So I see wealthy people at the grocery store. They're definitely buying stuff, but no panic. You go to Costco, you go to Walmart, there is definitely concern. You go to the gun store and the line is out the door. At least it was up there. And I'm hearing from other stores that my friends have gone to, very, very busy, selling lots of brass. And so what does that mean? People are getting concerned, they're getting worried. And I'm not going to say panicked, but there is definitely some concern out there. But again, if you're prepared, if you already have your brass, you already have your security, you have your food, water, you don't have to deal with the crowds. I mean, these people are late to the party. Somebody called me the other day and said, I'm getting really nervous. I've got to go to the store and I've got to get some canned food. I just went and got some canned food. And I'm like, thinking to myself, where have you been? Where have you been the last couple of years? These people now are just beginning to wake up. And I'm glad that they are. But to the people out there who've seen this a year, 2 years ago, 3 years ago, whatever, doesn't it feel good to just know that you have preparations, that you don't, this is why you do it. So you don't have to fight the crowds, put yourself at risk of getting sick, dealing with violence. This is just the beginning, okay? The crowds are going to get much bigger. The shortages are going to get much worse. And we're going to see some things happen here socially when the food runs out and the shelves are empty, no doubt about it. But that's some of my observation today. There is definitely concern, no doubt about it. And it seems like more in the working class areas, more in your average income areas, there's way more concern than the wealthy areas. But let me tell you, and let me say this to the wealthy areas, you better be concerned also, because these markets, most of these people in these wealthy areas are heavily invested in these markets, and their retirements are heavily invested in these markets. And if you're an older person, I mean, your immune system isn't as strong. When these wolf packs come out, when the police can't come to work, where do you think they're going? They're going to retirement communities. They're going to prey on older people. So if you're an older person, make sure that you are prepared. Make sure you have security, and try to be as self-reliant, self-sufficient as you can. Just because you live in a gated community in $1 million house does not mean that this is not going to affect you. Guess who's coming to your house? People who are hungry, people who have no money, people who are desperate, people who are angry. So be prepared, whether you're rich, whether you're poor, or whether you're in between, be prepared. Let's talk real estate. You know, we haven't heard a whole lot about real estate except for the mortgage rate cuts, the drastic mortgage rate cuts. Everybody refining. But when it comes to sales, we're not hearing a whole lot about real estate sales. And I believe the reason that we're seeing these drastic mortgage rate cuts is in order to keep this housing bubble going. Once this bubble begins to lose air, we have got real big trouble in our economy. You know, in my area, I don't have the statistics in front of me, but it seems like it's really quieted down here in regards to real estate sales. I don't see the agents on Facebook like they once were, showing their sales, solds, showing their new listings. They seem like they've been beaten up, and a lot of them seem like they've just disappeared. So I think the real estate market here is kind of calmed down. And again, if you're thinking about buying a house, I think this would be one of the worst times in history to do so. I believe the deals are coming. But again, massive mortgage rate cuts, trying to entice people to buy a house in 2020, to entice the suckers to buy a house during this election year with the markets collapsing. I mean, I think that's a horrible move. Doug Casey today, interesting article. I want to go over some highlights of it. I'm going to paraphrase a little bit. Doug Casey made some really good points here, and I want to go over this with you quickly before the sun sets. The U.S. economy is a house of cards built on quicksand with a tsunami on the way. We will witness a period of time when most people's standard of living drops. We're seeing that right now. We've been watching that actually happen for years now. A period of time when distortions and misallocations of capital are liquidated. A period of time when the business cycle climaxes. People have been living above their means. There is no doubt about it. Take a look. Here we go back to exactly what Doug Casey's saying. Look on social media, people taking pictures of their $100 steak at Morton's. They're showing you their new BMW lease, their new $300 Nikes, all this bought with credit, okay? To impress you, to impress me, to impress people they don't even know, to impress people they don't even like. This is an absolute joke. These exact people living above their means, trying to impress people that they don't even know, these people are going to be in very big trouble. What causes distortions in the way the market operates? Ask yourself. Well, it's the government action, the coercion, regulation, taxes, currency inflation. How about stimulating the economy with borrowing massive amounts of money? We're going to watch businesses right here in the US start to fail. Stocks are going to fall more, bond prices will collapse, and large workers will lose employment. And this is why it's so important to have an emergency fund of cash and assets, because if your husband or your wife loses a job, how long will you last? How long can you pay that mortgage? How long can you pay the rent? How long can you pay the lease on the car? Be very careful right now. This is the time to hunker down. If you only need a 1-bedroom place, then that's what you need to be renting, not a 3-bedroom place. Do you need to be driving a $50,000 car? If you don't need to, which you probably don't, go drive yourself a $5,000 car, a $10,000 car. Cut down. Take some of that extra money if you have it and go buy some gold, go buy some silver. Go put a couple $1,000s in cash away where you can access it. Do not put it in the bank. This will be the greatest depression the world has ever seen. Much different, much longer lasting, and much worse than 1929. Remember, things didn't recover until after 1946 from the 1929 Great Depression. It did not recover till after 1946. Mr. Casey believes this is going to be a harder hitting depression, a worse depression, and a longer lasting depression. Are you prepared to weather the storm? This is going to be a massive tsunami, and most people, they're going to be wiped out. This will be the biggest wealth transfer in the history of mankind, and this is also going to be a time of opportunity. If you have some cash, if you have gold, if you have silver, if you have a minimum amount of debt, you're going to have opportunity. Okay, so this is why I sit here on this evening and I prune a bonsai. I sit back. I'm going to have a nice dinner, which I'm going to cook myself on the grill. I'm going to eat a good, healthy dinner. Tomorrow, I'm going to do something active and get in better shape. And this is why I'm going to sit back and watch it happen. I'm not going to panic because I'm prepared. And most of you, you're prepared also. This is why we don't have to wait in a line with 500 people coughing on us. This is why we're not going to get contaminated. This is why we're going to take care of ourselves. We understand what's going on. So, these people out there that believe I panic, I'm more relaxed than ever. In fact, this is why I've prepared, so I don't have to panic. The people out there watching this who are not prepared, who just went out and bought 5 cans of Campbell soup yesterday and believe they're prepared, you're the ones that will panic. For the rest of you who've been preparing, keep doing what you're doing. Keep walking close to God. Make sure you're praying for this country. God bless every one of you. Share this video, like it, send it all over social media. Continue to wake up whoever will listen. God bless every one of you.